Hi everyone, welcome to Miles to Money. From the last video, I redid some of my pricing. I looked at a couple of those bills technically are not my bills. And then I found another bill that was my bill. It was a medical bill, so I've added that into there. So since September, the new pricing, my total debt at the beginning of September 1st was $347,151.03. Since then, as of right now, today is, let's see, what is the date? It is the 28th of December. So as of the 28th of December, my total debt is $315,168.53. That means that total from September to the end of December, as of the 28th, I have paid off $31,982.50 in debt. That is still a really good amount of money, so I'm still pretty proud of myself. And I'm glad that I've done that. So I have paid off now the Venmo credit card completely. The Credit One credit card is paid off completely. The Lowe's credit card is paid off completely. I still owe on my business Capital One credit card. That I owe $1,151.61. I am hoping to have that paid off at the beginning of January, maybe like the first to second week of January. I might be able to pay it off in the first week, but I just need to check all my bills because I'm on vacation. I went home to Mississippi. This is not my home. This is an Airbnb in Kansas. I'm visiting my youngest son and my nieces in Kansas. So I did not record when I was in Mississippi because I just needed some downtime. I had worked 15 days straight, and that's a lot. They're 12-hour shifts, and I have never worked 15 days straight. So I did end up working 15 days straight, but it helped me to make enough money for the gas, being able to pay all the bills, still being able to pay off some debt, and not getting paid for a full week, which I usually work anywhere from 48 to 60 hours, if not more. Sometimes I work 68, sometimes I work 72. It just depends. Rarely do I work 48 hours. I usually work a minimum of 60, but sometimes I get called off. It happens. So without that money, that's like $3,200 in 1 week if I work the full 60 hours that I'm not getting paid. And so I have to account for all of that, hence why I worked 15 days straight. So from there, I still owe the Capital One, a different Capital One credit card that's both mine and my son's, $4,735. I still have to pay State of Kansas. I'm going to get a hold of them at the beginning of the year and come up with a payment plan for them for $5,000. And then I got a hold of the National Debt Relief place that I had tried to do what I thought was like a consolidation, but it wasn't. The only credit card that they had done was the Discover credit card that was mine and my son's, but most of it was mine. And it was almost $10,000. And I've been paying, but they have like a fee thing. So let me get to that. So I finally called them and figured all that out. So it was like almost $10,000. We settled for like $7,500 or something like that. And then with their fees, the total that I'm going to end up paying is $9,454.73. So that's going to be the total amount that I will end up paying for that. But it's interest free. So it's not accruing interest. So I'm just going to keep making the minimum payments, get the credit cards paid off as fast as possible. Hopefully I'll have both of those Capital One credit cards paid off by the end of February. Once that's done, I'm going to continue to pay on my truck and try and get that paid off as fast as possible, because that has like, let's look. I can't remember what the percentage of the interest rate is, but I have it written down. So that one has an 11.24% interest. So that's my next highest interest rate. So I'm doing it a little different, and we'll go from that, and I'll try and get that one paid off in the next year and a half. Okay, sorry about that. I had a phone call. Anyway, so once I get the credit cards paid off, at that point, I'm going to focus on paying off my RAM. I still don't know what I'm going to do with my RAM, because technically I don't even have it. My son has it. I don't know if he's going to take it over, if he's going to move closer to where I am, or what we're going to do with the house in Mississippi. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling I'm going to be in North Dakota, South Dakota for a long time, just bouncing back and forth, because I make too much money and it's too hard to give that up. Plus, I'm closer to my youngest son that way. In Kansas, I don't want to live in Kansas, so I don't really know what we're gonna do from that, but I've talked with my oldest son about possibly moving down to South Dakota, so when I am there, I can see him. And so we're thinking about that, but that's like 3 years probably down the road. But for the financial portion of this, we're going to continue to try and just pay down debt as fast as possible until it's tax time. And so sometime in April, I'm going to have to take all of my taxes down to a CPA. I've got to find a CPA that I can work with and try and figure out taxes for the last 4 years. And then I will try to record that stuff so I can have that be like a separate little video, so we can go through that. So anybody that hasn't filed taxes in a few years, maybe that'll help them out in that stressful journey. And then we'll add a payment plan for the IRS to get that paid off, whatever is owed. So that's a little stressful, but it's okay. We're gonna get this done. But I should have the credit cards paid off max end of February, and then I'm just going to continue to dump money onto my Ram truck, try and get that paid off as fast as I possibly can. But I'm not 100% following the Dave Ramsey plan, because it says, the Dave Ramsey plan says not to put anything in your 401k or Roth IRAs or anything like that. I've been using ChatGPT, and so I've come up with a pretty good plan to at least put in 6% to my 401k, because they match 6%, up to 6%. I am putting into my health savings account. I'm maxing that out. Other than that, I'm not putting anything into my Roth IRA for now, until I get these bills paid down, at least get the truck paid off and some of the other bills all paid off. At that point, then when I only have the house left, at that point I'll start throwing money at that. However, I did open up a high yield savings account, because I've had $1,000 sitting in my savings account, just sitting there, and it's only getting like 0.04% interest, and that's not making me money. That's actually losing money, the way that cost of living and everything is going. So I went ahead and I switched everything over, well, 800 of it over, to a high yield savings account through Capital One. And then I'm going to put, I have it set up to automatically every Friday put $50 and transfer that from my checking account into that high yield savings account. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to add probably about at least $100, maybe $200. I'll probably do another $50 a week up into like dividend mutual fund stuff. So I'm going to start having some dividends just so I can kind of diversify some of my stuff. So total $400 of my money is going to go into some type of form of savings, whether it be the dividends or the high yield savings account. And the rest of the money that I make, I'm going to be dumping on my debt. Now, I'm really not probably going to lose any money by doing that, maybe just a little bit, because I was putting about $334 a week into my high yield savings account because I didn't get that until October, so I wanted to max it out. So I'm already used to not seeing that money anyway, so it might just be just a little bit. Plus I went down to only 6% on my 401k, and I'm not putting anything in my Roth. So technically I just moved some stuff around, but that way I feel like I will have a bigger emergency fund growing. So that'll give me, if I put $200 a month, well, actually I'm doing it weekly, so that's $50 a week for 52 weeks. What is that? Hold on, I'm gonna figure that out. Let's try and find my calculator. Here's my calculator. All right, so we got $50 a week for 52 weeks. So that'll add an extra $2,600 up for the year into my savings. So that'll give me a little bit more of a buffer into everything. Now I am going to be putting a little bit more aside, so for Christmas, because once a year I do take a week off of work completely. Like I take 10 days, but that's like partway in between 1 week, at the tail end of 1 week, a full week off, and at the beginning of the next week. So I can still work 4 to 5 days on the 2 weeks that I work, but then in the middle, when I'm off that week, I'm losing $3,200. So I'm just not making that. So I will be putting some money aside, that way I can pay all of my bills. So everything is getting paid. I can still pay down on debt, and I need to put some money aside also for any type of car repairs or anything like that that needs to be done. So that way, because the truck is expensive and it is mine, my son is just driving it for me. So if anything happens, I'm the one that's going to pay for it because he can't afford to, because it's a really expensive truck. And paying for stuff like that is very expensive on it. But I'm either going to get it completely paid off and then we're going to trade it in, or at December next year I'll trade it in for a 4Runner. But I was talking with the Chat GPT, and I told it to be my ruthless mentor, financial mentor, and it told me I shouldn't buy new, which I know. I can see the benefit. I mean, you buy a new and it immediately depreciates. Immediately, right off the lot. I get that. But I'm the only one that's using it. So I know exactly what's going on with it. I know how it was driven, whether everything was done right on it or not, And so, I don't know. I may hold on to the Ram and just let my son drive it. I have his vehicle. I may just get it paid off and then throw money into the savings. Next week, I will do a breakdown probably of my bills and stuff. I may do it later because I'm not technically getting paid next week, so I have the money in the bank already to pay the bills. I've already paid my rent, or not rent, I paid my house payment for January, but I haven't paid anything else for January right now. So I paid the house payment already, and that was $2,100. But I'm gonna try and figure out how to take my budget and throw it up on the screen and then talk over, so we can go over everything. I have everything in my budget in this planner, which I think I want to make my own, but for right now it works. I'm using this planner, and it's just, this is my new one. So it's just a budget planner I got off of Amazon. It works really good. I'll just kind of go through this one with you because it's kind of nice. I just bought my niece one, but I want to make my own that's a little more personalized and it's a little nicer, and then I might sell that. So it's my budget planner. So one of the quotes that I have on here, because I've been doing a lot of financial literacy audiobooks and things like that, and one of the quotes that I got is, every time you owe someone money, you become an employee to their money. And that's by Robert T. Kiyosaki. I think I said that wrong. I don't know how to say that. Kiyosaki? I don't remember. Anyway, it's by him, the one that is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then I have another quote of his is, good debt is something someone else pays for you. Bad debt is debt you pay for with your own sweat and blood. I really like that one. So just to kind of keep me a little bit organized and stuff. It has a financial goal. So these are my financial goals. My first one is to pay off all my credit cards. These are kind of going to be switched because I changed them up. I wrote them down before I really thought about stuff, and I'm not going to be paying interest on the state of Kansas or back taxes. It's just going to be a flat payment. So I think I should pay off the truck first, and that was goal number 4, but I think that needs to be goal number 2. And then by the time the truck's paid off, the other things are going to be paid off anyway. So I'll be paying them off simultaneously. And then pay off the debt resolution. That I don't have any type of interest on, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to be paying that off. Probably that and the trailer will be paid off last because I don't owe any debt on that. I mean, I don't owe any interest on that. Then I want to save $70,000 in my emergency fund. And then I want to save $60,000 for a 4Runner on top of that, as I'm paying down on the house also. So those are kind of my goals. Probably the only ones that I'll get taken care of this year for 2026 is going to be paying off the credit cards and paying off the state of Kansas and my back taxes. Everything else is going to take me probably until the next year to finish paying off. Like, I figure I won't have the truck paid off until hopefully the middle of 2027, somewhere in there. We'll just have to see, because I'm only able to stay in North Dakota, in Fargo, North Dakota, up until June 13th. That's my 51 weeks. That's the longest that I can stay there. So once that happens, then I need to go to South Dakota, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to work the overtime that I'm able to work in Fargo there. So we're going to find out whether or not I can or not. That's going to kind of play into everything, whether or not I can pay things off faster. Do I need to get a second job? If I can't work the overtime, my plan is to get like a PRN job at another hospital over there, just so I can continue to pay off my dad as fast as possible, because I want to get this shit done. I'm tired of doing this. I just want to get everything paid off and be debt free, so at some point I can retire and I don't have to worry about how in the world I'm going to be able to take care of myself when I retire, because I've started from scratch. So like, hold on, let me get on my computer real quick. I think I have the app. I think I downloaded the app. I really hope I did. Yeah, the Copilot app. So I also have Copilot that I do my budgeting and stuff for. So it just said I was over $997 over my budget this month, but a lot of that is because I've been traveling. I rented this place for a couple of days so I can see my kid and I can see my nieces and my great niece. So yeah, it's worth it. I mean, I drove 14 hours from Mississippi here to Kansas yesterday, and that was brutal. But it is what it is. Gotta do it. They had this mug. Look at this mug. It says "Rise and Grind." I thought that was perfect for this video. Bear with me, I'm not used to looking at it on the computer. No. Oh, it's under accounts. Sorry. All right. So, since October, I've only been doing this since October, except for when I was working in Mississippi at Senior River Health Systems. I ended up having $2,401.99 from their 403B before I left. So I do have that still. Technically, I haven't needed to transfer it over because I'm still technically PR in there, but really not, because I haven't worked there since February. I don't know how long they're going to keep me on, and I'm making so much money that I'm not going back home as often because I just am paying off my debt. So I do have that, but other than that, I put in almost $10,000 since October of 2025 because I didn't have anything at all in my funds for retirement or anything like that, because I had taken it all out when I lived in Reno, Nevada, to buy the house in Mississippi and to move my whole family to Mississippi. So that's where that is. But as of right now, total investments, I have $12,229.13. And then I have $1,000 between the two savings accounts. So I have a business savings account that has $200 now, and then the $800 that'll be over into the high yield savings account. So that's about all I have buffered money. Now I still have money in my business checking. That way I can still pay all the bills, and I like to keep a little bit of a cushion because I don't like to be without money. It freaks me out. Unfortunately, I've had bad experiences, so I like to have just a cushion of money. It makes me really nervous to not have money. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now financially. It says that I have like home equity. I don't really think I have home equity because there's so much I have to do to the house in Mississippi. So much. I have to fix the pool. I have to tear down the little shed garage shed thing there, but it also has the electrical on the outside for the pool. So I've got to put that on something else. It's a mess. And I got to fix a whole bunch of stuff in the house. They did not take really good care of it, and I bought the house on video. We did video walkthrough because I did not go down to Mississippi to find a house. I did it all through FaceTime, and I should not have done that, because had I walked through it, I wouldn't have bought it. But I didn't think that I could buy a house, and I get a little impulsive, and I want to do things, and I just jump into stuff. That's how I ended up with the truck. That's how I ended up with the house. It's still a good house. It just needs some work, and eventually I'll get that work done. However, speaking of being impulsive, I almost bought a puppy over Christmas. Do I need another puppy? No. I already have one Yorkie. He's not fixed. He's very cute. I'll go get him and show him to you because he's adorable. His name's Orion. I just call him Little Man. Hold on. Orion. Come here. Come here. Do you want to say hi to the people? Oh, come here. Come here. Whoop. Sorry about that. All right. So this is Orion. Oh, hold on. He's okay. Let me move the books so you can get your little legs. Look. Babies, look. This is Orion. He's my little baby. I got him after my mom died. He literally acts like a baby. But I got him after my mom died. I was not doing very well emotionally, so I decided that I was gonna get a little dog, because I always wanted a little dog that was easy to take care of. Oh, come here. That was easy to take care of, and that way I could have him. And he has been amazing. I've learned how to cut his hair. So this is his little haircut. But it gets really, really cold in North Dakota, so he has to have a sweater and a coat. But he would get matted up, so I ended up shaving him shorter, so that way he wouldn't get matted up. So, but this is little Orion, and I was gonna get another Yorkie so I could eventually breed them because he's adorable and I love him. But I talked myself out of it because I knew deep down inside that financially I should not do that, and I'm working 60 hours a week, so I definitely should not be adding another puppy. I don't have time to take care of them. I don't have time to spend with them. Oh, it's okay. All right, I'm gonna let you down. Hold on. There you go. There you go. He's so adorable. So I did the right thing, and I told the lady that I was just gonna wait and wait at least a year and a half before I got another Yorkie. And she didn't even message me back, so I guess I will not be getting a puppy through her because, I mean, I was very respectful. I was very nice about it. I was like, hey, I've really been thinking about this. I work a lot of hours. I don't think that it's fair to the puppy, and I don't have the time that I need to be able to invest in the puppy. So I'm gonna wait a year and a half until I can get some of my bills paid off, and then I'd like to buy one, and I'll contact you then to see if you have any puppies. And she never even messaged me back, so whatever, that's fine. I can always get a puppy anywhere. But he's AKC certified. I never got him fixed because I did want to eventually breed, because he's adorable and I think it would be great. But first I need to get stuff paid off. before I do that. So anyway, I talked myself out of that. I was very, very thankful for that, because it was a minimum of $2,050. It's probably going to be, for the one that I wanted, it was probably going to be $2,250. And I could have done it. I would have probably had to throw some stuff onto the credit card for the trip, and I'm paying off my credit cards, not trying to add anything to my credit cards. So I did the smart thing, and I did not do that. So I was very proud of myself, because it is very hard. I'm very impulsive. I don't know if you guys have that problem, but I definitely do. I am very ADHD, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I want to do this, let's go. And so I have to stop and really tell myself, no, you do not need to do that. Hence why I have ChatGPT be my ruthless financial mentor, because I need somebody to tell me no sometimes. Now, I was able to tell myself no. It was really hard to just deny myself that, but it's okay. It's gonna be okay, because in the end, things will be a lot better. I'll be a lot less stressed. I won't have to work as hard to get everything done. And right now I'm just gonna be busting it, trying to get things done. So hopefully, my YouTube channel will help out. Anything that I end up, if I do ever make anything from the YouTube channel, all of that money is going straight towards my debt. So anything that I make from here will go straight towards my debt. But that's kind of where we're at for right now. My son's gonna be coming down in just a little bit, so I'm gonna get off of here. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season, a Merry Christmas, that you guys spend time with your family, because things are nice, but there's things. That's one of the things I've realized. They're just things. They don't mean anything. What's important is time, and being able to spend that time with your family, and being able to do that stuff. So my goal, even though I work really, really hard, I work a lot of hours, I'm away from my family. Part of that is just because I have a little gypsy spirit nature, and it's hard for me to stay in one spot. So me bouncing every 51 weeks between states is perfect. That gives me enough of a change that I don't feel like I'm tied down anywhere, and so it's okay. I need that for my spirit. My kids know that, but I'm trying to do things to where I come down and see them when I can. Like coming down here to Kansas, I can see my youngest son and my nieces, a little bit easier, because it's only 10 hours from North Dakota. Once I go to South Dakota, it'll only be 7.5 hours. So I'll be able to see them a little more frequently than if I were to go see my oldest son, who is all the way on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi. That is a 20.5-hour drive. So it's cheaper to drive, takes more time, but that's like a once a year thing. That's all I can do for that. I have to take 10 days, pretty much minimum 10 days off to be able to go do that. So we're kind of thinking that every Christmas I'll go down and see my oldest and go home to Mississippi, unless something were to happen that I needed to go home, and then of course I would. Hopefully we'll be able to help him move up a little bit closer to where I am, so that way he's closer to his brother and his dad and to me, and we can see each other a little bit more. So that's kind of the goal, but it may take like 3 years to do, because my goal is to buy a house wherever I'm at, and then when I'm not there working, I can rent it out to travel nurses, or even if I want to share and rent it out, share a bedroom or whatever and rent it out, I can do that to help pay for it, and to have residual income eventually coming in. So but that's a few years down the road. Right now, I'm just gotta get this under control because, you know, I didn't want to look at all my finances. So here we are. We're just gonna do this together. Anyway, you guys have a blessed day and we will talk again. Bye.